Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance that was released in the year 2006. The fragrance is called 212 Sexy Men from the house of Carolina Herrera. Now again, this fragrance was released in 2006. There's a lot of flankers for the 212 house series. And it's been a while since I've actually reviewed some of these, so I figured, you know what, I'll get into it. I actually started to test this quite a long time ago. I'm talking about like 2-3 years ago, but I just never got around to finishing it. And so this one is a little bit of a weirder review, just because I didn't review it like 7 days in succession like I usually do, or 7 days in a row. I basically did this one, I think I did like 2. I forgot about it, picked up my notes again and reviewed it, and I did some more testing of it like a year ago, completely forgot about it again because I was distracted by some other fragrances, and then came back to it and finally finishing it off with 2 or 3 others. So it's interesting to see or for me at least, to see my progression on this fragrance and the scent as the time has gone by. So that's been pretty noteworthy. But either way, now the fragrance is available in 2 main sizes. It looks very similar to the original 212 Men. It's only in a maroon colorway rather than a gray colorway. The 2 sizes it comes in is a 1.7 and a 3.4. The 1.7 is going to run you $60 retail, and the 3.4 is going to run you $80 retail. That said, look around, you can find it much cheaper. I've seen the 1.7 as low as like $25, and I've seen the 3.4 roughly around 40-ish. So do a little searching and you can find this one extremely cheap, or much cheaper than the retail prices, alright? So let's go ahead and get into the notes. The notes of this fragrance consist of, at our top we've got mandarin orange, bergamot, and green notes. For our mid we have cardamom, flowers, and pepper. And for our base we have vanilla, sandalwood, gaiac wood, musk, and amber. So this smell, immediately when you spray it, if you have any kind of experience in the fragrance world, it reminds me of La Male from the house of Jean-Paul Gaultier. Now, 212 Men, it reminded me of La Male because you get that powdery, almost iris-ish like note. Now there may be some iris, they just have a note called flowers in there. And that's where I expect that iris note might be coming from, but that flowery note kind of disappears, goes away for a bit, and it's replaced with a very dirty green smell. Now, this dirty green smell, it doesn't smell like most greens smell kind of refreshing, they kind of smell outdoorsy. This one doesn't smell like that at all. This smells like a green note that you would smell on a soap or something like that. So it kind of smells like a industrial green note, if you will. Very dirty green, which isn't a bad smell, but it's not a fresh green, is just what I'm trying to say. Quickly, it turns into more of a powdery note, and you start to get more of a powdery green note in the scent. And for a while, I was kind of figuring and wondering, what does the scent remind me of? And then I got it. It reminds me actually of Givenchy pie. The sweetness that you get, that kind of sweet vanilla-ish, which is where the vanilla starts coming up in this. It's the sweet vanilla-ish scent that's almost a little bit scratching, like it's a very aggressive vanilla, if you will. And it reminded me of Givenchy pie. Once it gets to the dry down, this scent then begins to smell like a meld between Givenchy's pie and La Male. It's like those 2 scents come together, if you will. It's almost like that vanilla note from pie, you combine it with La Male, and you replace La Male's vanilla note with this vanilla, and that's what you get, basically. That's what 212 Sexy Men smells like. So I understand a lot of comparisons when people compare this one to La Male, but I actually think it smells like La Male with Givenchy pie, or more like Givenchy pie, if anything. So at the end of the day, you're going to get a powdery iris smell that has a little bit of sweetness coming into it with with the vanilla coming into this scent. So it's overall a pretty alluring scent. And the other scent that this kind of reminds me of is Cuba Gold from the house of Cuba, basically. So very similarities to a couple of scents that are out there. Spray-wise, I go about 3 sprays. This is one that you can overspray, so just be careful with this one. It's a good casual scent, and it's a good date scent, but I don't think it's a good work scent for some reason, and I think it's because of the scratchiness of that vanilla note that I was referring to. This is a good fall scent, and it's a good winter scent, so now would be a good time for this scent to kind of shine. And age group-wise, I think any age group can pull this one off. The performance on this one, it is a softer version of both Cuba Gold, Le Male, and Givenchy Pie. The projection on this one, it's a little bit more close to skin. It's not as heavy. And it lasts anywhere between 6 and 8 hours. So I actually get a much longer performance out of Le Male, but I have the original version of Le Male, not the reformulated one that I'm told is having all sorts of projection and issues with its performance. Now, compliment-wise, unfortunately, I did not get any compliments with this fragrance, so should be of note. And people who smelled it, they thought that it was okay. Some liked it, some liked the dry down a little bit more, and just a couple things to mention. Now, if I'm going to go ahead and give this fragrance a rating, I give it a rating of 6 out of 10. I think it's a decent fragrance that you can go ahead and pick up, but I think there are better alternatives, despite the fact that it is a relatively cheap priced fragrance at this point. I think, despite this, I would either rather have the original Le Male or I would go with Cuba Golds, just because I think those two do this scent a little bit better. That powdery, flowery note, and that vanilla mixed in. I think those other two scents does that a little bit better than this. That's not to say that this is a bad fragrance, because I think that ultimately there are going to be people who like this. The other thing of note is this is one that mixes with your skin a little bit differently. So as with all scents, go ahead, try this one out on your skin, and especially see if this one is one that works for you and is magical on that. The final thing that I can probably say is that sometimes it smells a little bit weird on your skin. It's just one thing that I've noticed, so just give it a try, and I, again, think it might be that vanilla note. So thank you guys, take care of yourselves, and you guys have a great day.